Hey everybody, it is late at night and I am Norman. Tonight I'm doing an unboxing and a full review of another brilliant Bauhaus watch. And this watch shipped in the craziest box that any of my watches have shipped in yet. So let us begin. Ever since I learned that Bauhaus refers to more than just the amazing band that I grew up listening to, I've been intrigued, both by the school and by Bauhaus watches. So early on in my collecting, back when 40mm was the smallest I would ever go, I purchased a Zeno Bauhaus winder at 40mm. And when I opened it up, I just about had a cardiac event. Because it's so flat and it had a cylindrical case, it looked like an absolute platter, even to my tastes back then. So later on I parted with that watch, and shortly thereafter I went with the Stowa Antea Klassik with the silver dial. And because of the lessons that I learned with the Zeno, I went with the 35.5mm case size. So let's flip the camera around and take a look at this amazing watch. Okay, brace yourselves for something crazy. This is the box that it shipped in. Look at the size of that. I have to film this handheld because it's so big, there's no room for my tripod. That is insanity. Alright, let's slide this forward a bit and see what is inside. Look at that. That is so cool. There's some of their watches there. Alright, so here we have the guarantee. May 2020, enshrined here. We have my information. Let's see if I can unfold this one-handed here. 30 years of passionate watchmaking. Handmade, unique pieces. Very cool. And there's more. So much more. Wild. All right. Let's get this out of the way. And the watch ships in an anvil case of sorts. Get out of there. That is a snug fit. And this feels really solid. Like it's not plasticky feeling. It feels like a little anvil case that you would purchase on its own. All right, let me get this huge box out of the way and we'll dig in to this thing and look at the watch. All right, so we got some of the clutter out of the way and we can focus just on the anvil case. Let's get this open. And there it is. And it came with a large cleaning cloth. And it is on just a nice simple little C-shaped deal here. Just nice and basic, but this case is great, and I've actually taken it on vacation and used it as a traveling watch box. The Stowa Antea. Now, embarrassingly, I have no idea how it happened, but I am missing the buckle for this watch. I looked all over with all my other buckles and have no idea where it is yet. Terrible, I know. So embarrassing. But look at that leather. It's not glossy at all, but it's really nice. There's some branding under here. You can see that I've worn it on this strap a bit. But I have swapped it out for all kinds of other straps. I actually did a video showing this on different straps. It looks really nice on an espresso shell Cordovan. I usually have it on a black shell Cordovan. I like the super smooth finish on those. Coming up to the lugs, we see that these are extremely Bauhaus style. Totally utilitarian. Drilled lugs, which is nice. They're pretty cool. They're short, very angular. Pretty cool. Looking at the case back, we see that it screws shut using little screws there, 6 of them. There is an exhibition case back, and look at the finishing on that Passot 7001. A little bit of branding on there. Look at those blued screws. I'm going to have to do a back-to-back between this and the Nomos. I feel like this just might win. We have some information around the edge there. And looking at the case itself, it is a cylinder case. And whenever you buy a watch with a cylinder case like this, just remember that it wears a good 2 millimeters larger than it looks on paper. I feel like this watch wears much closer to what a 40 millimeter would be, rather than the 35.5 that it is. Looking at the crown, there's some branding on there. I like how short the crown is, and yet it has a decent diameter. So it's nice and easy to manipulate. So we'll wind this. It is smooth like butter. That is so nice to wind. Get this thing nice and full here. You can hear it clicking, which is nice. So if you're like me and you grip it nice and loosely so once it reaches the end, there's no chance of you harming it by just, yeah, just like that. All right, so let's pull this crown out. And setting it is amazing. It's crazy how different watches feel one to another when you're doing something as simple as setting the time. I mean, this is smooth. The hands feel like they're just gliding over there. It is so weird. It feels absolutely amazing. This watch is so brilliant. Put that in, back in here. Pop this out again. So you'll see that the 7001 does not hack. So you won't be getting a super precise setting on this, but that's fine. Most of the watches that I see this movement in are super minimal, like the Malvern. The Zeno Bauhaus winder also had the Peugeot 7001 in it. And the Nomos that I own also has their movement, which is based on this in there, except that theirs actually hacks. And looking at that dial and the blued hands there, I almost went with the black dial until I read a review of this and how amazing the coloring on this dial is. So it kind of changes color depending on the light. Sometimes this will look totally silver, other times it's kind of a beige, cream color, and other times it looks white. So it's really cool. And it also depends on the strap that you have on the watch. When I have the espresso on here, it pretty much always looks like a cream colored dial because of that brown in contrast to it. But look at that font. Those hands are so thin, and look at how long that minute hand is. It dives right into that minutes track. That is just amazing. And you can see the texture in that inset subdial for the seconds hand. Let's see if I can get that. There it is, right there. Look at that. That is so cool. Oh, look at that 4 and the 2s. Oh, absolutely amazing. I've mentioned some of the specifications on this watch, but let's go over them all. The case is stainless steel. The case size is 35.5 millimeters. It is 6.9 millimeters in thickness, so it's nice and thin. The lug width is 18 millimeters. It has a lug to lug of 44.6 millimeters. The crystal is sapphire, both front and back. The movement inside is a Peugeot or ETA 7001. It is hand winding. It has a water resistance of 30 meters. All right, let me take my vintage Russian watch off and we'll see what this watch looks like on my 7-inch wrist. So here is the Stowa Antea Klassik on my 7-inch wrist. That looks so good. Look at how thin that is. The proportions are just absolutely perfect on this. They are available in larger diameters, so if you do have a larger wrist, you still have options. Man, this thing really needs to get more wrist time than it does. That is so cool. Look at that. That is Bauhaus. I absolutely love it. Nice. So there you have it, the Stowa Antea Klassik with the silver dial. That dial is amazing. This is such a brilliant Bauhaus watch. I absolutely love it. Thanks for watching.